Well, and what's become a tradition for presidents, President Biden is heading out to sell the American public on the items laid out in last night's State of the Union address. Natalie Brandt is on Capitol Hill with more.
President Biden left the White House and headed to the swing state of Wisconsin, fresh off his first State of the Union address. While the president's trip will focus on his domestic agenda, the war in Ukraine took center stage Tuesday night, with a bipartisan show of support for Ukraine and the international response.
The only part I agreed with was the part on Ukraine. We need to stand united. We need to work with our NATO partners and allies.
Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S. was one of the First Lady's special guests, and the president said the U.S. will continue to provide humanitarian and military aid. Senate leaders are now working on an assistance package.
There are very good discussions going on about that right now. The best place to include it is in the upcoming omnibus bill, and that's what we intend to get done.
But there are also bipartisan calls for the president to punish Russia with sanctions against their oil and gas industry and to expand drilling in America to offset the global supply.
Russia's a big producer of oil, so we've got to step up and fill that gap when it comes to liquid fuels.
The president's domestic agenda faces a much tougher sell in an equally divided Senate. Facing the highest inflation in decades, the president continues to push his Build Back Better agenda, which he says will help struggling families.
Well, what we do is we pass the legislation that we have been pushing, which will bring down these costs and make living more affordable for working people.
But Democratic Senator Joe Manchin remains opposed to the plan, telling reporters last night, quote, "I've never found that you can lower costs by spending more."
I've heard so many good things from...
Meanwhile, Senate Democrats immediately turned their focus towards Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, whose confirmation process is now getting underway. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.